Rich Tarani with TMC. Thanks for watching. We're at WebRTC Expo 2013 in Atlanta, Georgia. On our show, Baruch Sterman. He's a PhD and the VP of Tech Research with Vonage. Baruch, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Rich.
Likewise, so I'm sure everyone knows who Vonage is. Important question I usually ask, tell us about your company, but I know everyone knows Vonage, so better question is, what's new at Vonage?
Well, Vonage has been around really since the beginning of voice over IP, and the original goal of Vonage was to use technology to better people's lives, to bring them cheap phone calls for international, maybe home phone replacement. But over the last 3, 4, 5 years, Vonage has really decided to take a leadership role in the technology area. So it's not just about cheap phone calls anymore, it's really about enhancing the technology and really being out at the forefront in terms of the products and services that we have.
That's excellent. Now, I should mention that having run shows in the communication space and voice over IP for many years, when Vonage launched, the market started to gel around voice over IP. In other words, the advertising that Vonage did in the consumer space put so much pressure on not only carriers, but enterprises to seriously look at voice over IP, and there was a turning point right around that time, thanks to your company, and you really helped push the adoption of voice over IP. You probably don't get enough public credit for that, so I want to make sure that I tell you that, maybe 10 years too late, but you're really responsible for doing that. And now there's another, I don't know if we're going to call this a revolutionary technology, or many people at this expo think that this is the biggest thing since VoIP. Some people think it's even bigger than VoIP because, as we talked about off camera, there's a convergence of mobile and cloud and WebRTC all together. Huge opportunity. So what's your role in WebRTC, and what are you doing with it, and are you going to help usher in this next era of communications?
Well, actually, we do believe that similar to what happened maybe 10, 15 years ago with voice over IP, the same thing is happening now in terms of mobile communications and over-the-top players that are looking to revolutionize that area of communication, mobile communication, and specifically Vonage has adopted WebRTC to its mobile platforms. We've contributed back to the WebRTC, to the open source community, and the area I think that maybe if I had to pick one that Vonage has really done some really excellent work in terms of WebRTC is matching it up to the embedded capabilities of the device. So WebRTC is software driven, but the phone itself, the mobile devices, they have certain capabilities in their hardware, and we've helped marry the two of those together and enhance WebRTC in that respect.
So in other words, you've looked at the hardware of the various devices and you've ensured that your implementation of WebRTC is appropriate given the horsepower of the processor and other circuits within the device.
And actually trying to use the embedded capabilities in place of some of the software solutions that WebRTC came in. Just marrying the WebRTC capabilities closer and deeper down into the hardware of the devices. So that's an important thing, because very often the carriers have these advantages because they can work with the device manufacturers, and WebRTC is kind of trying to level the playing field, make everything available to everyone. So that's an area that WebRTC is going to have to help overcome. How you can actually take advantage maybe of some of the hardware capabilities.
So we know that your company is obviously a very strong consumer play, great consumer services. Does your new push towards technology and WebRTC open up a different audience for you in terms of customers, or is it still the same consumer play?
It's still a consumer play in the Vonage mobile application that's out to consumers and being adopted and downloaded all over the world by individuals. Vonage is also interested in working closely with carriers to help enable them to make their own voice over IP, video over IP, messaging over IP solutions, and allow our technology to work with them to create a community where we can interoperate, the carriers can interoperate all over IP.
Fantastic. Now what's next?
That's always a difficult question to answer. I think that video is still a little bit challenging on mobile devices. VP8 is okay. That codec that people use and WebRTC has adopted is okay. VP9 will probably be better. We hope it'll be even better. So I think the video capabilities, as we see the devices get a little bit more powerful and the operating system's a little bit smarter. iOS 7 is going to be coming out soon. We'll see how that helps things. So the mobile environment is full of challenges. Full of challenges. The network, people jumping from network to network, is a huge challenge for an over-the-top player that doesn't own the network and doesn't own access. So these types of things, keeping a smooth communication, a high-quality communication over mobile, is going to be challenging over the next couple of years, and I think that we're looking forward to playing very strongly in that game.
Thanks for being here. This was great.
Thanks, Rich.